wonderful to be here. Now, I'm disappointed in Adele. I fully expected her to take at least a year off and relax, but no. Going right to work. So I'm pleased for her. I remember Adele when she interviewed with me, and I think that's the only time I saw her in a dress. She learned real quickly, like the rest of us, you know, it's more comfortable than your pants and wandering around. So, but anyway, I called Dale Henderling and I said, tell me about Adele. He said, oh, she's wonderful. You'll love her. And I did, and I have. So, and I want to say one thing about Adele that is a very special quality. You know, you think of the assistant principal as being a disciplinarian, but her qualities, the kids, okay, keep the kids in line, but also be there for your kids, and she was. So that's what I appreciate most. Never worried about them. I knew they were in good hands. And one other thing, I remember we had our senior, what did we call it?
Scholarship assembly? Was it the scholarship?
No, our picnic, our party.
Oh, God.
Senior picnic.
Senior picnic.
Our senior picnic. Okay, we're out there, the kids all have sport guns. We're going back into the building, you know, we've been there, done that. Riding on one of the little scooter things. This kid is with us. He tries to shoot Adele. He shoots me. They both look at me like, oh my. What am I doing? And I said, okay, hand me the gun. I shoot him. We're even, and let's go. But anyway, Adele, you don't know how much I've appreciated you. What a wonderful job you did. And if you want to go to work, well, I guess I wish you well in that too. But take some time for you, do some traveling, enjoy.
Thank you very much.
We haven't planned anything. But, you know,
I know where you live, this side.
and I know where you live. It has been a pleasure knowing Adele for so long. When she came to Richland Middle School, was it middle then? Yeah, it was middle when you came.
It was junior.
Was it junior high when you first came there? Okay. When she came there, you know, it's like, oh, she's the art teacher. Really? Okay. So, you know, she seems real athletic. She seems like maybe she ought to be coaching or something, but she's the art teacher. And, you know, the kids loved her, we loved her, everybody did. Well, you know, I had the privilege of doing her appraisal and stuff, and I said, you know, Adele, there's more to teaching than this. There's more. And we talked that day about what's next. Are you gonna be in this classroom for the rest of your life? And she's going, well, I don't think so, I don't know, you know, and you know, we didn't get a whole lot past that, but it wasn't long before she came back and said, guess what, I'm going back to school. And she was going back, and she was gonna go into administration, and that was gonna be her new life. And what a life it's been.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But it's been a wonderful life.
It has been.
It has been a wonderful life, and you know, I wouldn't have traded it for anything, and I know you wouldn't have either. And it's a whole new perspective on children, and it's a whole new perspective on other teachers. And you know, it's just, you were meant for that, and it was wonderful, and I'm so glad that we had that talk that day.
I am too.
But I love you, and I'll see you in the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it knows.
That's right. You're welcome.
Kelvin asked me about 3 minutes ago if I would stand up here and say something, so I don't have anything prepared either.
Hey, it's easy.
I'll be nice to you. I was doing the math earlier today, and it's been 20 years, Adele, since I showed up at Haltom High School as an English teacher, and it was your second year as an administrator. And our friendship began pretty much right away. And man, what a roller coaster we have been on for the last 20 years. She taught me, and she is one of the primary reasons that I went back to school and got my administrator certificate and pursued some other options, because when I went to Haltom High School, I was going to be an English teacher for the rest of my life. We have that connection, and she cares so deeply about students, and that comes through in every conversation. Her availability to them 24 hours a day, even those students that no one else wanted to care about or worry about, and give out food and sandwiches and take kids to dinner and drive through neighborhoods to check on them. The kids are, to start with, they're all petrified of her. We know that. Even the big burly guys.
It's
are like,
respect. It's
yes,
respect.
it is respect. But they're like, to see the big 6 foot, football playing men, we're like, oh my gosh, Miss Kennedy's coming. But they love her. Even, and I'm in Keller now, and I still get, do you know Miss Kennedy? Her name is everywhere, and they love her and respect her and admire her, and there is a huge hole in Texas education today because she's no longer going to be a daily part of it. I have no doubt she will continue to educate students in a less formal setting and continue to be very involved, but there's a hole today. So I thank you for your service. I thank you for your friendship, as we all do. So I'm going to stop now. Who's next?
Charlie,
Freshman year in 2000? Yeah, 2000.
Yes.
And I don't know if she ever was told this or was warned afterwards, but my file from North Oaks Middle School was pretty thick. Disciplinary problems. But we connected because I was in art, all through North Oaks and then all through Haltom. We connected through that way because of art. Well, I think it was 2001-ish, because I think I was still a freshman. I decided to stand as a student with my First Amendment right of freedom of speech. Do you remember this?
Yes, I remember. Yeah, now that you're saying it, I remember.
I wore a very political, negative T-shirt to school, and it was about, I think it was third period when it finally got called to the principal. And she talked me through, and I stood my ground, and I said, I'm wearing this shirt, I have the right to do it. And she sent me home. Next day, I came back in wearing non-political related shirts, and the rest of the year and the rest of my career at Haltom, I never wore that shirt. I actually got rid of that shirt probably about after I graduated high school. It stood in a box for years, so I finally got rid of it. But I remember her teaching me that making a statement is not about just the pow and the resow of being able to just do it at the last moment. You got to prepare for it. You got to be able to know your audience and what to say. So she's always had a huge impact on my artwork too. She would always make an effort to come down to the artwork classes at the far end of the building just to check on our students, our artwork, and she made a point to also come to the gymnasium and the art competitions for Birdville to check out our work. So she had a great influence for me, from making sure I know when to stand up for what to say and how my voice still be heard, but in a more respectable manner, but also still support the arts that I'm still supporting today. So thank you, Ms. Kennedy, or Adele, sorry.
After watching administrators and being an administrator for a long time, I tend to kind of classify administrators into two different categories. There are people who leave the classroom and become an administrator, and their main interest is an upward trajectory and being promoted higher and higher and higher, and it's an ambitious kind of thing. And then there are other administrators who are not as plentiful as the first, who leave the classroom because they have a desire to extend the influence with kids, to touch more lives and make a difference in more lives, not necessarily adult lives, but kid lives. And I'm so thankful to know Adele as that second form of administrator. Adele has always been interested, first and foremost, in making lives better for her students and for their families. And even though you're gonna leave a big old empty space in Birdville ISD, I don't have a doubt that all you're gonna do at this point is continue to extend that influence. Adele is my neighbor, and in the last year, she met my mom, who's 87, and it didn't take more than 2 meetings of my mom until I could see Adele beginning to adopt her and love her and take care of her, and I just thought, yeah, because that's what Adele does. Adele reaches out, she loves people, especially those that have a need. So, I love you, thank you.
I think with Adele, she's always been a teacher, it seems like. 'Cause she started way back in daycare. Yeah, that's true. In daycares and stuff like that. She used to work at Starlight Daycare up here on Starlight Drive and other daycares around the place. And then she just moved up to the junior high and then of course at the high school level. But I think she's always had a need to teach kids to not be like she was when she was growing up. But seriously, now she did a great job, just seeing the need in other children where they couldn't see themselves and guiding them in the direction they needed to go. So, and that was, it was great that she went ahead and went to Haltom finally after being at Richland. Because she went to Richland and graduated from there, and so she finally went the right way and went to Haltom for a while. But no, it was that she became a principal and wasn't just teaching, but was also guiding them and helping them when they got off track and getting them in the right direction. Like they were saying that she went by people's houses, checked on them, went through neighborhoods, and that's going to be something that is going to take a lot more people to do what you do as one person. It's going to take more people to do that. So.
Thanks.
You did good.
I appreciate Adele. Is many years ago, boy, I'm gonna let my hair down, my pins are gonna fly. Now, many years ago, I went to this TSCA convention, and there was this State Board of Education member there, and her name was Dr. Alma. I don't remember what Dr. Alma's last name was, but Dr. Alma said this: in order for there to be good administrators, good teachers have to leave the classroom. She said, you don't take a bad teacher and wave a magic wand and all of a sudden you got a good administrator. Well, Adele was a great teacher and a great administrator. She touched people's hearts. She changed people's lives. There was so many kids that she could reach out to and get them to do things that other people wouldn't do. The last experience I had with Adele, we had this student who was named after a vegetable, all right? And he walked into my class that day, and he wasn't going to learn. No way was that boy going to learn anything from me. So the next day, we had a little bit of conflict. He walked out of my room, and Adele brought him down. Now, this is my friend here, and he's going to teach you something, and you're going to get in there, and you're going to learn. And I don't want to hear anymore, but Miss Kimmy, I don't like him. Well, you're going to learn to like him. And he got out there, and you know, that kid still talks to me on Facebook today. And you know what? He learned something. So, she changed people's lives. And for that, we'll all be forever grateful. Now, I have to tell you one little story. When we were at Haltom, we had this student. And he was the very first, I forget what it's called, but it's a type of autism. It's, what is it?
Asperger's.
Asperger's.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
all right. Anyway, this kid was in every teacher's classroom. And this kid he was in my class, and he would start his little ball events, and I'd say, suck it up. And he'd get his eyes big. I said, we don't cry in geography. And so he threw fits, and he would fall down on the floor and wallow around on the floor. The only person who could do anything with him was Adele. So one day he went loose in science class. I mean, it was just, everything was flying, and Adele came down there and got him, and she took him into his office, and Jim Vashoskas, who is now Superintendent of Mansfield, came in there with her, and they had to kind of drag him in there, and they got him in there, and Jim was sprawled over him like this, and he's kicking and screaming. Adele said, Jim, you better not do that, because you may get injured. So Jim stepped up and goes, oh yeah, you're right, Adele. And so anyway, it was the funniest thing, because this kid, she had her door shut, and she had it pinned, and he got his fingers underneath that door, and he was yelling, call 911! Help me! I'm being held hostage! There was this mother there, and she's looking over at that door. But if it was an extreme case like that, Adele could make it happen. Adele could affect people's lives. And what a blessing she's been to so many kids. You know, there's this saying, fake it till you feel it. Adele never had to use that because she felt it. She loved every kid that came in. It didn't matter what they looked like, how they smelled. She loved every child that walked into her office. And so when I was getting this caricature drawn of Adele, if you notice, she's holding a backpack here, and it says 420, it has some leaves coming out of it. Adele has a special talent that whenever she gets around somebody that's been smoking a little marahoochie, she gets a headache. And so we called her our drug-sniffing vice principal. And so he was drawing it off of her graduation picture. I said, whatever you do, don't put her in that dress. I said, be sure she has pants, because you'll only see that. And of course, y'all saw the invitation picture we put on Facebook of her in her bikini. But Adele, we love you, and we are so honored to be counted as your friend. Adele, would you like to say something to us?
I'm truly honored. I'm truly honored. And like Linda wasn't, because Miss Ricks did something Monday, and I talked about Linda and Dale.
Those were good times.
They were great
Those were good
times.
times.
They were great times. And, you know, it started with my 6th grade teacher in O.H. Stowe Elementary. And I was a turd. I'm just telling you. It surprises you. I didn't care about school. I could care less about school. I got taken in the bathroom and whippings all the time. I mean, all of it. It didn't matter. But she worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. Bless her god dang heart. And she finally turned the switch. And it was I wasn't we were grouped then. And I wasn't in the group that got to go be with the little kids and teach. She let me go do that. The light came on. And that was the day that I knew that I wanted to be a teacher. And so I attribute that to her. And then school went on, and as we all in this room have had people say things that, you know, words are life and death. And I had 2 teachers at Richland High School that said these words, and I'm telling you, these words is what was said. You will never make it. I could either absorb it and take it on, or I could do something different. And I had to work to, you know, I'm not naturally smart, and I had to work at it. And the only reason I got through school and college and everything else is God, because because I'm telling you, it was cool. And you know, it was up and down. Ask Lee when she bleeds all over my crap. So, anyhow, went to college, taught high school a couple of years and coached, and then went to the middle school. Linda Smith and Dale Henchling, I met them there. They transformed, because I remember the conversation in your office. And I went back to school, and I wasn't sure how that was gonna go. That was the only time I ever made 3.8s and 3.5s. I went, okay, well, maybe, all right, I'm good. But it was because I was interested. They transformed my life. I went into administration. I remember interviewing with Miss Kelly. I did tell her that orange was not my color, it clashed with my hair. That I had to wear black or gray, but it didn't just, I was gonna look like a freaking highlight marker if I had that on. And I didn't get the phone call from Miss Martin until it must have been about 9:30. And I was never so excited in my life. I don't know if Miss Kelly knew at that time that Shelley Stevens and I had been friends. And Shelley and I, and Mr. Billington, and Chris Cortez, and Miss Dr. Crone, and Joe Spade were all a team. And we all worked together, and Shelley and I got in a lot of trouble. I know that surprises you too, if you know her. We would get in trouble. I'll never forget this. We were coming up we'd been out having to deal with stuff, and we were down on the golf cart in the park, and we'd gotten around on the other side of the creek thing that runs there, so we didn't want to go all the way back, so we wanted to come up Haltom Road, but Miss Kelly's window kinda so I go, okay, let's just do it. We're okay, let's just do it. She's not gonna see us. So we get about on the other side of the bridge, and we're in the street. I mean, we're okay. We're fine. All of a sudden on the radio, Miss Stevens and Miss Kennedy, y'all need to get in my office. Of course, we're on. So Shelley gets me and goes, I told you we were going to So we go in there. We didn't get in much trouble. We were okay. I mean, with Miss Kelly, you got this when you walk in. But all of the principals that I've worked for, Miss Kelly was my absolute most wonderful teacher, favorite person in the world. And, she let us do our jobs. She let us take care of the kids. She let us, we'd get, we'd be right in the middle of a fight and, doing all the stuff that we had to do. And, she knew that we were about taking care of those kids. And, some of my children are here, and I know that they're in their 30s, but they're still my children. And Katie Humbles is one of my children. I had her brothers and sister, her brother and sister, know her parents. It was a family, and it was special. And there's just so many things that change your life. And if I can impart anything on anybody, the words that you say to people are life and death. And I don't care if you have to give kids, or really anybody, but adults should get, but kids, I don't care if you have to work and work and work and work and work, and it's the 700th frickin' time that they've done whatever it is. You just work. And you love them, and you treat them with respect. And, I've had to suspend kids, I've had to tell them they couldn't walk at graduation, I've had to do all of that, which is, none of that is pleasant. But not one time did they ever have their feelings hurt from me. They knew I had to do what I had to do, and they respected that, even though it was a hard situation. And I still loved them, I still hugged them. I don't care if somebody says you're not supposed to hug them, I still hug them. I don't care, I do it today. It is so vitally important, because if people had given up on me, I wouldn't be where I was today. And it's just you're not all about moving up, because I have no desire to do that. And my next career, I'm gonna be working, I start Friday, I'll be working for Herf Jones, which is graduation products. I've done it for years anyway, but I'm with kids. So when I see that need, I will take care of that need. I will work with that need. That's who I am. I can't be anybody any different than that. You know, and so that's a new thing for me. It's exciting, but I've still gotta be around kids, and I can't not be around kids because that's just who I am. And I so much appreciate y'all being here and seeing all my friends and all my little kids that are adults and have kids. And